All right, so, whoops. What's next? Is it already streaming? Can't even tell. Excellent connection. Public. All right. I guess it's streaming. It says I have excellent connection. Title, Creative Doodling. All right, so. Great. All right. I guess we're doing it. Now, so I'm trying some more live streaming, learning OBS and YouTube, because Saturday I'm going to do an unlisted one, sort of a little class or a class preview. So I thought I would work on my settings and my screens and what do you call them? Scenes, different scenes. So I've got my main webcam scene, and then I've got my iPad one for drawing with my logo at the bottom, which you can't really see, can you? Well, I guess you kind of can maybe I need to change the color on that. Yeah, I'll do that so it shows up. And then I've got this one because this, for my young students under 13, I found this chat app, which I think will work because everything I've been reading says that most people, when they stream and they do live chats, they use their phone anyway. So I was like, well, why don't I just find an app that kids can use? So I found this one, and I think it's going to work, called Stars. So that's cool. All right, so right now, what I'm going to do is work on this particular example that I started a while ago, inspired by my sister. But this time, I thought that I would add some more of the black and white designs with my pens. This is the other one I was working on last time I did it. Looks pretty cool, huh? And I want to leave this one with just pens and markers, but I thought it would be fun to use colored pencils on this one for today. So let's see. Let me get a 5 and a 3 and an 8 and a 1 and a 005. There we go. Okay. I like these Prismacolor pencils. You can use regular fine point Sharpies and extra fine point as well. And let me just say in advance, I am in my art studio. Welcome to my art studio. Oh, you know what I just noticed? Yeah, the lighting with because that's my iPad putting a shadow across my face. And then you can hear my air conditioning cut on because my art studio is in my basement / laundry room. But I think you can still hear me. I've tried this before, and sometimes I cut off my air conditioning, but oh my God, I'm in Georgia. It's too hot to do that. So my husband's upstairs, and he totally has a meltdown. I mean, literally, he gets so hot, so I can't do that, or I won't do that. But I like these Prismacolors, so I'm going to work with these, and then I'll see if I can figure out the right place for my iPad so I don't have this square shadow on my face. But let's see. So I'm going to go with my size 08, which is like a extra fine point Sharpie. This is a regular Sharpie. These thick lines, a regular fine point Sharpie, and this would be the equivalent of an extra fine point or an ultra fine point Sharpie. So let's see. I think on this I'm going to do zigzags. Maybe some more hearts. It'll be fun to alternate them up and down. The cool thing about creative doodling is I don't have a plan. I think what makes it meditative is there really is no right or wrong about it. You know, you just start playing with the with your doodling designs, and it's just different lines and shapes. So I'm going to get some more black and white designs in here so that I can have some areas where I'm going to fill in my colored pencil. I'm not going to work on this whole thing in real time today because I don't have the time in my day to do that right now, but I did want to get ready and plan for my class tomorrow at 4. It'll be my first live stream class experiment, and I'm also going to offer some other live stream classes. I've got some ceramic clay, air dry ceramic clay planned, and oil pastel and tempera painting. And one of the things I've done for parents that I think will be helpful is I have made art kits for them to pick up, so they don't have to do any shopping. You don't have to like try and figure out, well, I can find that at Michael's, but I can find the other thing over at Blick Art Materials or Joann's or whatever. It's a pain in the butt. So there's so much going on right now with parents and kids getting back to school. I wanted to make it as simple as I could. So if you're in the local area, in the Atlanta area, north of Atlanta, in Marietta, Kennesaw, around in there, then I can meet you with your art kit that has everything you need in that kit for that class. And the class it's a month of classes. Meets every week depending upon your class. So there's the ceramic air dry clay class. There is an oil pastel painting class. There's a tempera painting class. And there is a, what is the other one? Oh, model magic, 3D model magic class. Each one comes with its own art kit. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, or you think your young artist would be interested in, reach out, let me know, leave me a message here on my YouTube page. And oh, there comes my husband. I'm live streaming. That's okay. It's okay. This is my experiment. It's all right. It's all right. I already talked about how this is my laundry room, and I noticed that my lighting, my iPad is like creates a square shadow over my face. So
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, no, it's not. So this is my test project. I only have like, I don't know, 30 something subscribers, so nobody's gonna really look at this anyway. But it's good practice for me.
You know, Critical Role started that way too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stream on Twitch. I mean, they still stream on Twitch, but they
Oh.
started with nothing, and now they've got their full range of Funko Pops coming out.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Comic books,
You never know.
animated movies.
Wow.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know I had subscribers until when I was still teaching elementary school, and my students were like, "Yeah, Miss Julia, you have 30-something subscribers." I'm like, "Oh, I do?" So. All right, so I think in order to have something fun to do my color pencils with, I'm going to go with maybe an 03. And let's see what we got here. And then this will give me something that I can do with my color pencils. Uh-oh. Sorry, forgot to get a Kleenex. All right, so I think with this little number here, I'm going to use my 005 super fine nib and put some little lines in here. I find that whenever I do this creative doodling with the black pens and just the black and white, it's nice to create some different values by cross-hatching, with having super skinny lines really close together, so it almost looks like a gray area, as you see that right there. But of course, close up, it's little tiny lines close together, but regular distance, it almost looks like a gray value, the way our brain sees it. So I think what I'm going to do is go in here and have some areas, because what I think I want to do is talk about warm and cool colors. If I use warm colors on this design here and maybe cool colors on that background, I can show you how I layer the colored pencils. Like, for example, this is a red marker, but I can go over marker because it's dry. You don't want to do it when it's wet because it'll tear your paper. But you can go over dry marker with some colored pencils and create some depth and dimension and texture, and it gives it a fun look. It's a fun thing to do, to add, you know, to make it look a little different. So right now I'm using a very light pressure of the white Barrel Prismacolor white colored pencils, and you can see it kind of make it almost like a pastel in there. Because because I'm using colored pencils, I wanted to kind of blend the marker part so that it has a similar look to where I add the colored pencils. So that's what I'm going to do here, and add some additional color. And when you're working in colored pencils and you start your color blending and your layering, because they're sort of a waxy texture, you don't want to press real hard. In the beginning, some of my young students would get so thrilled about the color, and that is cool because it almost looks like you painted it if you have a good set of colored pencils like Prismacolor. But the more, you can't add a whole lot of layers because that waxy layer, the next layer won't stick. So this is kind of a pinkish color I'm adding here. This is called Carmine Red. It's kind of a pinkish red. So I'm going to add that on top of the very light layer of white that I had. And what I'm trying to do is make it look more like colored pencil and less like marker. And with a reddish warm color in the background, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a cool color, or maybe a warm green, but it's going to be you know, complementary to red. I want something that's complementary to red. So that has more of a what do you call it, a colored pencil look to it. I'm also going to add some yellow, but I want it to be a warm yellow, like a dandelion yellow versus a lemon yellow. So I'm going to come in here with this yellow, which is canary yellow. This is not a Prismacolor, it's some other brand. Spectracolor. I'm going to add, I think I might have forgot that little corner. I'm going to add that yellow. And you can see how it kind of, it's almost giving it sort of an orangey look, because I've got my warm fire colors of reds and yellows together. Reds, yellows, and pinks. Pinks and red and yellow making orangey colors. Mixing those primaries together to create that secondary orange. All right. Okay, so I think that's kind of helped it look. It camouflaged the marker and gave it a bit of texture, so that when I add the other colored pencils, it has that look. So I think what I'm going to do, if I've got this heavy black here, I probably want to balance it out and have some heavy black somewhere else. So I think I'm going to go ahead with go back to my 08 and do some black in here. And once I add more color, I can see also where it might work to balance out some black, some solid black. So whenever you're doing the creative doodling, it's helpful to leave some areas that are solid white for contrast and have some areas that are solid black for contrast, rather than filling every space that you have created with a design. It creates more interest if you leave some with solid white and some with a solid black. All right, so I'm going to leave that right there. I'm going to come in with some more colored pencils, and this time what I want to do is, let's see what I've got over here. Let me do, I'm going to show you what it looks like to have a nice warm-ish, this is a bright green, it's almost a yellow green in here. Next, and green is complementary to red, and they are opposite each other on the color wheel. So what that means is when they are side by side, they complement each other. When you mix them together, it makes a neutral tone, browns, tans, that kind of thing. But side by side, it almost vibrates when they're really intense colors. So when you have this kind of a green next to a red, the red really shows off the green and emphasizes and highlights it. So you can see how bright that looks right there. And then but I didn't press too hard because I want to mix it with this green, which is called parrot green. It's a really nice bluish green teal, and I'm not pressing hard at all. In fact, I'm very, very light pressure because this is a darker green and I don't want to go too dark. I want to be able to blend my colors together. So as you can see, that teal green, it's almost a turquoisey green, is heavier on the dark, but it creates this wonderful texture. That's why I think blending with colored pencils can be so fun, because when I do clay is my favorite medium, and I just love textures. And my husband is he loves video games, and he loves Fallout, and sometimes I'll just sit and watch him play Fallout because it has the most wonderful textures and a cool sort of a 1950s look, and the music, of course. I mean, and I was born in 57, so in my household growing up, that it has a familiar ring to it on some level. But I love the design of the game and the old mechanical stuff and the peeling paint, the wonderful textures that are created there. So my artwork, often I'm drawn to texture, and I love how layering and blending colored pencils versus markers. My kids, when I was teaching elementary school art, oh my God, their favorite thing was colored markers. But I like colored pencils. I like the texture they create. I'll hold that up close so maybe you can see. You see that really cool texture in there? I just love that. That's awesome. Now, you don't have to do that. You can press firmly, like if I go over here to this side, and I take that same parrot green, and I press firmly. Now, it's building a waxy layer up, so I probably wouldn't be able to add another color on top. But it's a different technique, you know. Sometimes you want it to be a heavy layer that's thick and waxy, and it's one solid, very opaque color where you can't see through it. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to layer it and blend it and be able to see the first color through the second and third colors that you add. But in this case, I just wanted to show you the difference. You can see how solid that parrot green is. And there you don't really see any texture like you do over there on that lighter green. So that's cool. And then, you know, I'm looking at my designs, and I do like the background of the hearts being solid, but I'm wondering about this side of the hearts and how I might want to do that. I think I might want to balance that with the same kind of thing, a solid color in the background. But right now I'm going to move over here to this design, and let's see, let's go with a cool background. I already had the parrot green in my hand, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to go very light on the background, not a lot of pressure. And hey, can you stream to more than one platform at a time? Like, can you stream to YouTube at the same time you're streaming to Twitch? Or does that like make your computer blow up? Okay, so blue with this parrot green. This is a pretty blue color. Okay, put that on there, and then I'm going to add a third kind of a teal green. Are you wagging your tail, Frank? What are you happy about, buddy? Huh? What you happy about? So this green is called, I use this one a lot. Oh, I don't have a name on it. It's 310, whatever that one is. Some of these pencils are really old. I know their design has changed. I think now they make them with the word name on it. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while. Okay, so this layer is putting that greenish color. I like blues and purples too, but green has yellow in it, and yellow and purple are opposite on the color wheel. They're complementary, so they'll make a brown. So I can't, since this has green in it, I can't add purple to it because it'll brown it out, and I don't want to brown it out. I want my colors right now to be bright. So I will do that later with another blue area. So this is kind of a blue-green, but I want another blue. What other blue? Oh, here's a light one. This one is called Blue Slate. So I'm going to take this light blue slate, which is almost like a periwinkle, and I'm going to add that. And it's getting to where my layers are pretty thick and waxy, so not much on top is going to stick. So I'm pressing a little bit harder on this one because I want to add it there. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. So I've got that pretty kind of a bluish green. I'm going to hold it up. I think you can see the, oops, where's my camera? There it is. The textures in there. And then, that's bugging me right there. You know what would be cool too is to go down in between with a darker blue. So if I take this one is ultramarine, and I go down in here, I'm going to just slightly bring that dark blue up in there like that. So it creates a bit of a shadow. And over here, and here. All right. There we go. Oh, that looks cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my warm colors up in here. So we'll put some pink and some yellow. All right. And I'm going to make this yellow. I'm going to warm this yellow up a little bit with some orange. All right, but not press too hard because I don't want my pink to blend in. Okay, so now I'm going to do, I've got this this orange red. I'm going to put this orange red so bright. Is this the carmine? No, this is poppy. This is poppy red. So I'm going to put the poppy red in here. All right. And then I think I'll add some more pink in the petals. If you are like me and you are experiencing anxiety about the world that we live in and COVID, creative expression and this kind of doodling can be very calming. It requires our focus to be right here, and it can be really healing and helpful. So if you haven't ever tried something like this, you might want to experiment with it. And I'm a firm believer in all of our feelings are okay. So you could turn it dark if you needed. What Stephen King? What does he talk about? How he writes about those horrors so he doesn't live them, gets them basically outside of his psyche, which I totally respect that. I believe in that. And I think that we can do that with art too. Not all art is sweet and flowery and pretty and rainbows and unicorns. There's a lot of art that's dark. And, a while back I was kind of combining humor with my own rage, creating coloring pages that were, there was a word and instead of like and my favorite expletives, my favorite curse words, and then I would put these kind of designs all around them. And it was a way for me to be angry and make space for my anger, but it also helped me play and have fun and create joy in my life, and that's really important too. So that gives you an idea of some of what you can do when you're doing creative doodling and using your black markers on white paper, but also adding color. When you're using colored pencils, color blending and adding color. You can also add color using markers. I think I did the colored markers last time maybe, but I have some really thin line colored markers that I might use at some point too for creative doodling, but I wanted to show you blending with colored pencils and kind of how that works, because I think that you can get some beautifully rich color when you're using colored pencils, and markers are much more limited. So I think that's it for today. And if you have, some comments or feedback or anything about this, would love to hear it, or questions about creative doodling, let me know. And until next time, it'll probably take me about 45 minutes to figure out how to get out of here. But if you did tune into this live, or if you see this video, thanks. And I hope you'll tune in